10,000 years ago, the tops of the highest hills on Åland rose out of the water between Sweden and Finland. Over the millennia, nature has created a whole archipelago with more than 6,700 islands. About 60 of these are inhabited all year round today. 30,000 people live on the Åland Islands. The only town, Mariehamn, has a population of just over 11,000. The strong entrepreneurial spirit of the Ålanders ensures that even rural and remote archipelago communities are viable. The population of Åland is increasing through immigration. More than 1 in 3 were born outside Åland. There are people from 100 different countries in the region, and more than 60 of the world's languages are spoken here. The Swedish language has always been spoken on Åland, and is, according to law, the only official language. Finnish is optional in schools, and Swedish is the mother tongue of almost 90% of the population. Åland is an autonomous, demilitarized and monolingual Swedish-speaking region in Finland. The autonomy gives Ålanders the right to create laws within the areas specified by the autonomy law. With a lawmaking body, the Åland Parliament, and its own government, Åland functions in many ways as an independent state. The region has, for example, its own flag, postage stamps, and number plates for cars, and its own top domain on the internet. The government works actively to ensure that Åland is an economically, socially and environmentally sustainable society, where gender equality, social equality and accessibility are guaranteed. The Åland Parliament held its first session on the 9th of June 1922. Accordingly, Åland's Autonomy Day is celebrated on the 9th of June every year. All civil servants and those employed by the municipalities are on holiday, and it is an official flag day. One of the more traditional dishes is the Åland pancake, which is enjoyed all year round, but is especially popular on Autonomy Day. There is a great interest in and dedication to locally produced ingredients and traditional cooking on Åland. The region has, for example, a dairy that produces milk from Åland farmers, a slaughterhouse, and a brewery that produces handcrafted beer. There are many good restaurants, cafes, and farm shops on Åland that offer a variety of small-scale local products. For a period of 600 years, Åland, together with Finland, was part of the Kingdom of Sweden. In the War of 1808 to 1809, Sweden lost the eastern part of the kingdom to Russia. Finland and the Åland Islands were a part of the Russian Empire for over 100 years, up until Finland's declaration of independence in 1917. After Finland became independent, the Ålanders sent a request to the Swedish king and government regarding the reunification of Åland with Sweden. But the Finns were not prepared to allow the Ålanders' request for reunification. Instead, the Finnish government offered the Ålanders a certain degree of autonomy. And in 1920, the Finnish parliament passed the first autonomy law. The autonomy law was rejected by the Ålanders, and the question was taken up by the League of Nations. A decision was made in 1921 that Åland should belong to Finland. Finland agreed to provide guarantees for the people of Åland regarding the Swedish language, culture and the local Swedish traditions, as well as the system of autonomy that Finland had offered to Åland in 1920. In 1809, when Åland became a part of the Russian Empire, the building of a large fortress was begun at Markström, on the eastern side of mainland Åland. During the Crimean War, the fortress was attacked and destroyed by French and British forces. The Peace Treaty of 1856 resulted in the demilitarization of the island. In 1921, the League of Nations decided that Åland should be demilitarized and neutralized, which means that military bases may not be built on the islands and that Åland should not become a theatre of war. Åland is also called the Islands of Peace, and the region has for many years attracted politicians, researchers and journalists from all over the world who are interested in studying a successful solution for minorities. Autonomy gives the lawmaking body, the Åland Parliament, the right to pass laws within those areas that are stipulated by the autonomy law for Åland. The Parliament has 30 members and general elections are held every 4 years. The Parliament appoints the Åland government, which makes decisions on and implements the matters that fall under the autonomy's jurisdiction. For instance, Åland has the right to pass laws concerning healthcare, the environment, social care, education, culture, local infrastructure, the postal service, radio and TV, as well as on the promotion of local business and municipal administration. The Åland government manages all areas that Åland has jurisdiction over according to the autonomy law. The government is assisted by a civil service with 6 departments and a number of independent authorities. The autonomy is fundamentally a means of protecting the Swedish language on Åland in predominantly Finnish-speaking Finland. In order to be registered to vote and to stand for election to Parliament, a person must have the right of domicile in Åland. Right of domicile can be compared to Åland's citizenship. You can automatically receive the right of domicile when born on Åland if one of your parents has right of domicile, or you can apply to the government of Åland to receive it. The requirement is that you have Finnish citizenship and have lived at least 5 years in Åland. As an autonomous region, Åland has a special position in both Finland and the Nordic countries, and also in the European Union. Åland is demilitarized and neutralized through international agreements. This means that the region may not be fortified or used for military purposes. Neutralization means that Åland shall not become a theatre of war. Autonomy gives the Ålanders the right to pass their own laws and make decisions regarding the administration in those areas that are regulated by the autonomy law. In those areas where Åland does not have jurisdiction, the laws of Finland apply in the same way as in the rest of the country. Foreign administration, law courts, customs and national taxation are examples of the areas that also apply in Åland. Within certain areas of lawmaking, jurisdiction is shared between Åland and Finland. A good relationship between Åland and Finland is a condition for the successful functioning and development of the island's autonomy. Åland has 1 member of parliament among the 200 members of the Finnish parliament, as well as the governor, which is the only such post left in Finland. The governor is the highest representative of the state in Åland and is responsible for the coordination of the 14 state institutions in the region. The region's autonomy is regulated in the autonomy law for Åland. The law can be changed by the Finnish Parliament and the Åland Parliament together. In other words, any change in the balance of power between Åland and the state requires that both parties are in agreement. The relationship between the Åland government and the Swedish government is also good, and many meetings are held to discuss issues relevant to both. Many Ålanders choose to study at Swedish colleges and universities, and Sweden is an important market for many Åland-based companies. Relations with other Nordic countries are also important for the region. The Åland government and parliament take part in the formal Nordic cooperation through the Nordic Council of Ministers and the Nordic Council. Finland joined the European Union in 1995, and since that time, Åland is also a member of the EU. In a separate protocol, which is attached to the Finnish Treaty of Accession to the Union and is called the Åland Protocol, it is stated that Åland has a special position in the EU. This special position means, amongst other things, that Åland is outside the EU's tax union and that there are special regulations governing the right to own property and to run a business in the region. These exceptions from the application of EU legislation give Åland a unique status among the other member states. The exceptions are important for the survival of Åland's society and its development. Thanks to this special status, it has been possible, for example, to continue selling tax-free products on ship and air traffic to and from Åland, something that is crucial for the transportation of goods and for efficient travel to and from the region. Both the Åland economy and the people of Åland are, and have for a long time been, dominated by seafaring. During the 1800s, the farmers began to build their own ships and to conduct trade with the outside world. Over the years, the ships continued to become larger and the trade routes longer, and by the early 1900s, the Åland ship owners impressed the world with their fleets of sailing ships. Today, Åland is a hub for the ferry traffic between Finland, Sweden and Estonia. A large number of ships arrive at Åland's harbours every day throughout the year. Seafaring is still the most important industry here, and thousands of Ålanders earn their livelihood from seafaring or a related industry. Passenger ferries are a condition for the large number of visitors to Åland, and they create many jobs, both on board and on land. They are also important with regard to the transport of goods to and from the region, and the ability of Ålanders to be able to travel with ease and at a reasonable price to Finland and Sweden. When Åland joined the EU, an exception was made, which allows ship and air traffic to sell tax-free goods on board. This is necessary to be able to maintain cost-effective transport to and from Åland. Efficient transport has meant that companies have stayed on Åland and that new companies have been established. Amongst 30,000 inhabitants, there are 3,000 companies, and several of them are large by Åland standards. These include the ferry companies, banks, insurance companies, restaurants, hotels and manufacturing companies. The majority of companies are small nonetheless, and many are one-man companies, often within farming, handicraft and service. Seafaring and other export companies drive the Åland economy. Manufacturing on Åland is relatively small scale, but is still important from the perspective of export. Industries include, amongst others, international high-tech plastics, woodwork and IT companies. An important area for industry is the processing of farm produce and fish. Åland offers attractive work opportunities, with companies in the majority of branches. Almost 1/3 of Ålanders work for a municipality or within the government, for example in day nurseries and schools, in the police force or in healthcare. The public sector economy is based on tax revenue. As in the rest of Finland, the state collects taxes, custom duties and charges in Åland. The Ålanders then receive a lump sum from the state, which is the equivalent of just under 0.45% of Finland's income. If the taxes from Åland are at least 0.5% of the equivalent tax in the whole of Finland, then the excess is received by Åland. The Åland Parliament is free to decide how the money is divided in the regional budget. Education is one of the areas where Åland, according to the autonomy law, has the right to pass its own laws. The education system on Åland covers primary, secondary and college-level education. There are also colleges specialising in seafaring, healthcare and information technology. In other words, there are many possibilities for education in the areas required by the Åland labour market. Many young people choose to study in colleges or universities in neighbouring countries, especially in Sweden, and then return to Åland to work. Åland is a culturally rich society with a large number of active clubs and associations, and many creative cultural workers. Every year, hundreds of events are organised, for example exhibitions, festivals, theatre productions and markets. Everything from small intimate productions to large folk festivals. The region is rich with sites of interest that tell the story of historical times. The fortress of Bomarsund was once a magnificent building complex. The fortress was built by the Russian military after Åland had become an outpost of the empire, following the peace treaty of 1809. But the fortress was never finished, and during the Crimean War it was bombarded by cannons from a hostile fleet. Kastelholm Castle is the only medieval castle on Åland, and was founded as a defensive site at the end of the 1300s. The castle ruins are well maintained and house many exciting stories within their stone walls. The castle has been visited both by King Gustav Vasa and Duke Johan, and Erik XIV was imprisoned here, together with his wife Karin Månsdotter. The Åland Museum of Cultural History presents the story of Åland, from the first seal hunters who landed on the rocky islands during the Stone Age to today's global and multicultural society. The Maritime Museum cares for and presents the Ålanders' maritime heritage. And close by lies Pommern, the only four-masted cargo sailing ship in the world that is preserved in its original condition. There are many opportunities for active recreation in the region. Football is an avid interest for players and supporters. Åland can be proud of two teams, a men's and a women's team, in the highest Finnish league. Other examples of local sports options include sailing, gymnastics, riding and ice hockey. The region has a number of golf courses and swimming pools of high quality, and there is also a harness racing course. Åland offers both those who live here and visitors a unique closeness. Closeness between places and countries, between history and the future, between ideas and decisions. And, most important of all, Åland offers closeness between people.